everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and I'm back in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. And obviously I can't do this next topic alone. I'm back in the Yu-Gi-Oh world because there's a lot of very important things going down in Yu-Gi-Oh, in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh as far as the anime is concerned. So to join me, I brought two guests. The first one has been with me since the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters Marathon in March. Introduce yourself, Natalie.
I'm Natalie. You just said my name, so yeah, there we go. That's me. Yeah.
All right, and our second guest, I actually had her in a video that I did make earlier. However, unfortunately, there was some audio hiccups on my side, so I was unable to record that. But she definitely knows her stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! I will definitely put a link to her channel in not only the description of my video, but also when I send this video out and set up the tweet on Twitter. So introduce yourself, miss.
Hi, I'm Callus. I have a YouTube channel where I do videos about anime and gaming and stuff. Maybe not too many recently, but you know, I'm trying to get that going again. Life happens, you know. But I guess I'm the resident Yu-Gi-Oh expert for this particular discussion, as it were.
And we all love Yu-Gi-Oh! And what's happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now is very big, and it's really well timed too, because as the Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously is preparing its new series, its new anime series in 2020. Basically also falling in line with the 20th anniversary. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 20 years old. Do y'all feel old yet? Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 20 years old.
Hey, the Yu-Gi-Oh! aired a bit after the initial thing, so I'm not as old as...
Right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Can vote in America. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 1 year away from being able to drink.
I'm afraid of what that'll mean for the franchise.
Your days are numbered. Okay. So also in line with that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series, has just ended. Literally, as of the time of this recording, the finale was played. And I remember, if I remember correctly, Vrains is the shortest of most of the Yu-Gi-Oh! series, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
So, just, I don't know if you'd want this context right now, but like...
No, you can go ahead and give us a little bit of like how you feel, because I think you're the only one who watched Vrains.
Yeah, I like 10 minutes before this whole conversation started, I watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains finale, and Vrains has been a very mediocre show for the most part. It has its fair share of problems. I don't know how far I want to delve into that, but there's like popularity-wise, as far as I know, Vrains is actually like not at all popular in Japan. And it seems like this is just like me making assumptions based on that, but it seems like they pulled the plug on Vrains.
Sounds like they made it end a little earlier because of that. Yeah.
And there are two reasons for this that like there's two reasons I think that. One, the final story arc, which was shaping up to be like really good until this stuff started happening, very clearly like had no time. Like most of the story arcs have been pretty long and drawn out in Vrains and in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. But this one, it was like, okay, here's this new villain. Oh, here's what their deal is. Okay, they're gone in 2 episodes. Like, and then like, oh, what is your two characters' baggage? What do you have going on? All right, well, you two are gonna duel each other, even though you don't really have much of a connection. But you two are gonna duel each other, and we're gonna deal with all of that baggage and complete your point in the plot right now, so we can go to the ending of the story over here.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And also worth noting is that between Vrains and whatever the name of the next series is, because we don't actually know what it is yet, so Yu-Gi-Oh! 7, as it were, there is going to be the biggest time gap that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has ever not been airing. I think it was between Zeal and Arc 5, there was a 2-week gap. Here, we are getting, like, 2 to 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I actually don't even think we have a month date yet.
Yeah.
Just that it's starting in 2020. I have thoughts about that, but we'll just leave that context.
And that does segue us into the beefy meat of the topic. Since Yu-Gi-Oh! Is getting a new series, obviously, I got us three together to try to talk about first of all, let's talk about our history with Yu-Gi-Oh! The animated series, just in general. You can talk about any series you want. You can talk about your favorite one, preferably, or your least favorite one. And just talk about, like some small little moments you had with it. And then our biggest topic will be talking about what we want from the newer series going in. Like what elements from the older series do we want to the newer series? Or some elements that they probably never even tackled upon could be used in this one. So I'm gonna start off with Natalie because she's been very quiet up to this point. Natalie, can you briefly just like give your thoughts about Yu-Gi-Oh! The animated series? Just any series you want. You can pick one, or you can just say the bulk of your general perspective on Yu-Gi-Oh! And also like any moments of Yu-Gi-Oh! You really liked, or something that you felt was very memorable, or it could even be a character that you like. Just discuss about your feelings on Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we'll try to segue into that.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll have to talk about the literal one series I watched, because I'm a Gen 1er for Yu-Gi-Oh! Where all I've watched is Duel Monsters.
I thought I had convinced you.
No, I still, it's one of those things where it's like, I might watch Zexal one day, but I'm really bad at watching stuff on my own. I need to get pushed and watch it with other people, so...
Yeah, maybe have like a watch party or something.
Yeah, let's just gun through the whole series. Let's do it. But,
that sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, but
I mean, I watched all of Yu-Gi-Oh! With friends, but anyway.
Yeah, no, it is really fun. I'm literally rewatching, Duel Monsters, because my friends don't know any Yu-Gi-Oh! And we've been cruising. We're up, 90 episodes, which I never thought we'd get so far, but it's, easy to watch, but, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the 90th episode is.
It's where Yami Merit comes in. Because I love him.
Oh, yeah. On the phone. Screw you, Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Here's the question on that. After you finish Duel Monsters,
right,
are you planning to go on to GX with them and just go through the whole thing?
I don't know.
I think it'll be good
And
pacing,
I've actually, I've read the entire manga a few times, but I've never even watched season 0, so that's probably next. But,
I was gonna say, Natalie, we actually do need to talk about season 0 for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters month.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to watch it all at some point. I literally just need a watch group to do it with me. So, but no. So that's really.
So, what are your favorite moments? What are your favorite moments in Yu-Gi-Oh? At least in the one series you watched.
I don't know. I'm diehard Battle City all the time. Anything that builds up characters,
anything Merrick did.
Yeah, he's my favorite. I love him. But no,
remember that time he rode on that motorcycle?
Yes. He's my favorite.
Hope that doesn't awaken anything in the franchise.
Oh my god.
Right?
And season 4 where it was
Yusei just slowly backs up into the garage.
Yusei sticking his head out from behind.
Rub it up. Oh shit. So Natalie, is there anything else you wanted to share about your experience or your history with the Yu-Gi-Oh anime?
I don't know, I guess my question for you guys is, what series do you think has the best stuff for characterization? Because that's what I like Yu-Gi-Oh for, is characters more than the actual dueling.
Right. I'll give that to Callus. And then I'll say it after you answer. Because I know Callus, she can go on for days about it.
I have, and I can again.
I'll do it again.
Okay,
so for the sake of balance, I want her to go ahead and get her thoughts, and then I'll follow up.
GX is the worst one in that respect, because every character's initial thing that is laid out winds up going in a different direction or just being not expanded upon.
I remember your video on that.
For,
that was fun
professor.
to watch. Yeah.
So that one's out.
Yeah.
5Ds is probably the cleanest in that respect. 5Ds is really, really good. I think 5Ds is objectively speaking the best one.
Okay.
If I can try and remove my personal whatever from it. Arc I'm saving another one for last. Arc 5 is complicated because the characterizations of the characters sometimes butt heads with their old characterizations from old series when old faces appear, because that's the whole gimmick thing of that series. And Vrains is a very dull noise right up until the end, where there may be one of the best characterized characters in the franchise.
Oh, wow.
Who is a character I started out despising, which is I. And then stuff happens in the final story arc, and like the direction that goes in is amazing. And it's like the only thing that is given its due with the very limited time that Vrains has. Zeal's my favorite. The first half of the show has problems.
Isn't the first half... Okay, so I've actually watched the first half of Zeal. Isn't it very gimmicky? Isn't it like the whole... It's like a numbers show up every time?
Yeah, okay, so it's like we gotta go find the numbers cards. And it turns into a MacGuffin battle. The problem with the MacGuffin battle is that it's established early on that if Yuma ever loses during one of those, Astral will die.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
So when Jobber of the Week shows up, Yuma's not gonna lose.
Yeah.
Who's like pointing
the show has already written its own ending.
Yeah.
Oh, I love to like reverse things. Oh, you're being reversed. Reverse. Or like, I like cats. Hi, I'm a girl who likes cats. And it's like, you're not going to kill Astral right now. That is not going to happen. And I mean, to be fair, Yu-Gi-Oh has a complex relationship with character death.
Yeah.
But like, but throughout that show, my favorite character is the rival character Kaido, who is like, if you took the best elements of Kaiba and Jack Atlas and like mashed them together, dude has a transformation sequence. And like, little known fact about me, this isn't really a secret, I absolutely love transformation sequences.
Yeah.
And when he does it, his coat like turns into Jack Atlas's coat.
Nice.
But he's like a very like motivated, like hard ass character who shows up and is like chasing after the numbers cards as well. And it's like, well, why is he doing this? And like, you find out about his motivations and like what the deal with him is, and as like the series goes on, like stuff changes, and like he's a very complex, interesting character who had a very perfect ending until the actual ending of the show ruined it. But anyway,
so I guess I'll go into mine then. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! For me was definitely Pokemon was in a weird spot at this point when I was watching it. And I'll admit this, as a kid, as growing up, as the time passed and people were getting older, I was actually getting made fun of for watching Pokemon as a kid. And, you know, to this day, I don't care. But back then, you know, self-conscious, and, you know, you're in front of everybody, you don't want to be. I started to distance myself away from Pokemon a little bit. And I think at this point, the Johto region was happening, where we were going into late Johto. And the quality of the Johto region changed.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I don't know, parts of me were like I don't want to say abandoning Pokemon, but I was more gravitating more towards the video games and the anime.
Yeah.
But I was still watching Kids WB at the time, and Yu-Gi-Oh popped up. And I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I thought it was interesting because it was another show where, like, you know, you were playing with something, you like, basically you can sit down and play this, but the monsters came to life, and it was just like you had strong monsters at your disposal and stuff like that.
It has a lot of the same energy.
Yeah, vaguely related.
Pokemon.
Even especially Duelist Kingdom too, because the characters would travel in like a Pokemon style-esque we're walking in the field type of situation. So the setting was there. But Yu-Gi-Oh just had something that felt a little bit more one-up to me. Like the fact that little Yugi transforms into this freaking beast and gets some what'd you say, Natalie, in our first video, some sick eyeliner. When he starts it's something about that just attracted me, and I stuck with the series.
That's attracted me too.
I stuck with the series though. I was like, this is a really interesting series. It's got a really interesting plot. And I started watching it, and I kind of fell off after 5Ds. After 5Ds, I sort of fell off the Yu-Gi-Oh face, mostly because like a lot of the rules were changing, pendulum summonings, you know, things like that. And I know that nowadays, I know them now. I've learned them since then.
I feel like I helped a bit with that.
Yes, you did. You actually did,
will never see the light of day.
Yeah, you did persuade me, and I was able to look up some videos on how to, you know, do all of those things. So it's not far off.
Did you go in far enough to realize that Lynx ruined the game?
Yes, I did. Lynx completely changes the entire format. But when I was watching the anime, one thing I really liked, my favorite series, has shifted a bit. I love 5Ds. 5Ds is my favorite, but I went back and looked at DM for a while. And the reason I did this is because there's one thing DM kind of holds above the other series that I do appreciate, and we will talk about later when I talk about other topics concerning the next series. DM, to me, feels like it's more grounded in its tournament roots. Like, they treat a lot of things, they do things that you would see in a tournament, in a card game tournament, a real competitive card game tournament. They discuss rules. When they got on the boat, they were trading cards. Like, this is real tournament stuff. Yeah, the world was at risk, but
that was the secondary plot that came to the forefront later. Like, it's underneath the layer of a normal card game tournament.
Especially Battle City. Battle City is like the poster child for how Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel should kind of format itself. Yugi changed his deck to adjust to the new rules. They changed the rules like they would in a competitive set. Some characters were cheating by using special contact lenses to see cards.
You could say that they actually established rules.
Yeah, well, right.
Story arc of Duel Monsters is kind of bullshit.
Callous, they set the ground rules. They set the ground rules for having rules.
Excuse me for a moment. Giant soldier of stone, attack
the moon! That's gotta be like Yu-Gi-Oh's slogan at this point. Instead of it's time to duel, it's attack the moon. But at that point, I don't know. And just also one of the things real fast here before we move on. One of the things I do like about DMs also is that they had characters that didn't necessarily duel, but they did effectively use their screen time. Like, they were there, and thus it felt more realistic. It felt more grounded, whereas in the other series, everybody's kind of a duelist, like conveniently a duelist. And I'm just like, okay, well, where's your Tristans and Tayas that don't duel, but help fill the spot?
I'm actually going to disagree with you on that one. I actually like that everyone becomes duelists in the later shows because it sells to me the idea more that, like, this world revolves around that so strictly. So,
okay. I respectfully am going to disagree only because with Taya and Tristan, or with those characters, at first I used to think, they're just useless, but as a kid. But when I stop and look at it now, to see non-duelists in there as friends, it helped me shape the world out a little bit in my head. That was like, I guess that's one of the difference between Yu-Gi-Oh! DM and the other series. Because in the other series, you're right, that makes a lot of sense, Callus, that everyone would be a duelist because it adjusts to the whole card games are taking over everything. But in DM, and I'll never forget this moment, there's a Battle City tournament and a guy in traffic is stuck. Because he doesn't understand the concept that there's a card game going on in the middle of the street.
He literally is like, this for a card game? And I'm like, buddy.
Right.
In Duel Monsters, the world doesn't revolve around it yet. In GX, that shift is happening because there's fucking schools for it, and then on, it's like, no, this is like the thing.
Well,
this is what our world does.
I like to inadvertently blame Kaiba for all of it because he started it. Kaiba, like, has duel-based technology. Cars in Dark Side of Dimensions, cars stop in the middle of the street when he walks on.
That's so funny. And then they start when he leaves so they can run Yugi over.
Right. Traffic stops only for me, Yugi.
That's good.
Right? So, I guess within the confines of DM, I don't know, I like a setting where there are non-duelists mixed in with duelists to help create that world. Because Tristan and Taya did do shit. They weren't completely useless. Like, I know
Tristan got turned into a robot monkey that one time.
Yeah, of course. But I remember, they would like sneak in the castle. I remember Tristan threw out the Millennium Ring for a while. Like they had their moments.
Just as like a quick aside,
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I want more duelists instead of less duelists is also because I feel as if we go into the situation where it's like, oh, there's going to be characters who do duel and characters who don't duel. It is very, very likely that the primary woman of the series will be a non-duelist, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always had a problem with its women, and that they usually don't get to do much, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women representation in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very weird until we get up to, like, Akiza. Akiza's, like, the first, okay, we gotta... Although I will say this,
it never gets better than her.
Listen, Taya is undefeated, all right? Look, her duels are very, very niche. Her duels are niche as hell, but she's never been defeated. She beat Joey in episode 1. She beat Mai because she gave up, and she beat the penguin dude, Crunch, because
100% win streak.
Exactly, because Dark Magician Girl gave her tips. But the facts remain, she is undefeated.
Okay, but see how you had all of those caveats about it?
Yeah.
That's the thing that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because like there is never a like woman who gets to be on like the hero squad, which means she'd actually get to stick around for like a long period of time, who doesn't like get pushed to the side eventually.
Right. Well, with that being
the best
said,
one, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, though, and that actually transitions into the big topic we have, where there's a new Yu-Gi-Oh series. Would you guys be against or for the idea of the female being the main protagonist?
I am 100% for that. God,
I'm for it. I'm for it. Name her Yuna.
Just,
or Yuna or Eula or something. Just give her a U name and just let her go.
The problem that always gets run into is that like Yu-Gi-Oh! As a franchise is one that is usually very protagonist focused.
Yeah.
So what what usually winds up happening is that you have the main character who gets like the vast majority of the duels. You have their rival, or in some cases rivals, looking at you, Gia, who like also get a pretty decent amount of play, and then you have the friend who is a guy who also gets a significant amount of play, but nowhere near as much as the other two. And like, not making one of those a woman means that she's always going to be relegated to the supporting cast. And like, if she's in the supporting cast, it's more likely that she'll get kidnapped, turned into a MacGuffin, just completely ignored going forward, like
corrupted. So now you have to choose if you beat her, then you kill her.
Oh, it happens in Vrains.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love for a female main pro tag. I just know it's gonna be very hard,
it's not going to happen. Like I would love it. It's not going to happen.
And it also is mainly its main demographic. Its main demographic, unfortunately, is teenage boys. So it's gonna be really hard.
A shonen series that has a woman as the main character. You can do it.
I've been saying this for years too. I'm saying it's possible, but so since we're talking about the new Yu-Gi-Oh series, we obviously don't have a title or anything yet, which leaves us open for interpretation.
That's also part of my concern.
Yeah,
like I am worried about the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point because of that huge gap, and the fact that we have ended a Yu-Gi-Oh! Series and we don't have character designs for a protagonist. We don't have a subtitle. We don't have a single bit of actual footage.
Information. Yeah.
Like, it's worth noting right now that the trailer, the teaser that came out, is one that, like, showed footage of all of the old other shows. Then there's a bit of text that I believe translates to, though this is a fan translation, so, that the new one was going to rewrite the history of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That can mean a lot of things, and we can get into that. And then it's like, oh, get excited for Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 2020.
So one of the things about that is too also is with them, yeah, because I remember before Vrains came out, I did at least see like Vrains. Well, I saw like the stuff for Vrains. I saw like the name. I knew it was gonna be the name. I knew very vaguely. Yeah, I knew very vaguely about it, but I knew it was coming. And so yeah, this is so weird that they haven't shown anything yet. It's almost like how Pokemon's doing right now.
Like Pokemon, that's what like. In the next week that they're gonna reveal what's going on.
Well, yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are doing
set of baggage though, because like it's not about the franchise as a whole. I think it's because the games having a bit of issues. But
it's so weird that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are both doing this whole like we're gonna be very vague about what's happening next.
Yeah. The franchises will always be intrinsically tied somehow.
yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with their part marketing. They sell product. Yu-Gi-Oh sells the cards, Pokemon sells the games.
Toys.
Yeah, buy our toys. It's buy our toys the series. So you're gonna have some like things here. And with that being said, I want to transition to this. Do you think there will be a new card gimmick? Like a new, like some type of summoning.
100%. It's happened every single time.
And Natalie,
it is going to happen.
Natalie, I'm gonna ask you as well.
I don't know, cause like I don't keep up with the card game, but isn't the most recent change just the introduction of like speed duels? So maybe if that's like rewriting history, couldn't they start on that too?
I was just gonna say, I wouldn't be mad if they made a spin-off, well, not a spin-off, but like a side series based on speed dueling. It doesn't need to take place in the same universe.
They kind of like touched on a new weird kind of duel within Vrains where they'd get on so they're like cyber fucking hoverboards and do their thing. And it had like its own set of rules, but they stepped away from that before the end of the franchise.
Yeah, I remember Dark Side of Dimensions had the Dimension Duel.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You mean the return to form to like season 1 Duel Monsters of fuck you, I can do what I want.
Yeah.
That said, that moment of Kaiba like reaching down and just willpower
summoning Obelisk.
Oh, it's so good.
You don't even have the card. How are you doing this?
No, but shut up though.
Oh my goodness. But I wouldn't mind if because the biggest problem that speed dueling has, because I play it, and if you play Duel Links, you inadvertently play it. It's not advertised well. It's not advertised at all. Like I'm surprised they even have new booster sets for it because I didn't think anybody but me was buying them. So I wouldn't be too upset if they made a series based off of the speed dueling concept and have it take place in a modern set. Well, what do you guys think of this?
I don't know, Callus, you could go first.
Oh, well,
anybody.
Okay, so I have an interesting note connected to that, actually. I'm very glad that I watched Vrains before this, because this is actually tied into one of my theories. The episode 120 of Vrains, the finale, episode 999 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise overall, is titled A Connected World.
Oh!
And near the end, there are some characters talking about how Link Vrains will now connect various worlds.
Oh shit, we're getting Duel Link anime.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
There is a picture of like a large, like what Vrains or Link Vrains is usually like presented as, and there's a bunch of like little things connecting off to other disparate areas, and like the protagonist of Vrains at this point has like fucked off, like he's just gone off somewhere, and everyone's like he's on a journey, and I have reason to think that I don't know how hard spoilers I should go into Vrains. Like it aired today, you know what I mean? But there is like
I'll put like a spoiler warning.
There's a post-credits thing, of that implies there is more to come of Vrains. Now, to be fair, Zeal also had that. Like at the end of Zeal, they're like going off to fight against a new threat, and then it just stops. be great if the new series could address that.
Yeah.
But like there's like very clearly like a thing that should be addressed, but might not be. But yeah, fucking Duel Links, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the new series is called Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links.
Huh.
It just would not be created through Kaiba Corp. It would be created through the company in Vrains, which is I don't even fucking remember the name of the company.
But yeah, you're just saying that ironically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links will be the new title, which is the mobile game, which would promote the mobile game.
Yeah, it would actually create a lot of synergy for the company. And one of the things I am convinced of is because the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime franchise / franchise as a whole seems to be like approaching dire straits right now, and we're kind of in a place where like I'm not confident about the future of the franchise. I really think that for better or worse, we are going to see Yugi in this new series.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
I think that motherfucker is going to be on screen.
I hope we see I hope little Yugi takes it though. I don't want to see a Tim. No offense to a Tim, but I think this is little Yugi's time now.
It depends
like Dark Side of Dimensions
on how they do it.
Yeah, Dark Side of Dimensions was like his movie. It was about him becoming the the strong duelist. Independent. Yeah. And he showed that off a lot in that movie. He was doing a really good job holding his own.
I love that movie right up until the last like 10 minutes where people stop talking and you don't actually get to hear a final goodbye between Yugi and his
Same.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
I cried.
Yeah, some people say they're actually glad that there was no talking because it was like it was supposed to be like a symbolism situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Like maybe little Yugi subconsciously summoned a Tim.
This is just me. People are allowed to disagree on fiction, like whatever.
That's fine.
But like I hate that unless it is being done for a narrative reason. So
I agree.
like
that makes sense.
If a character, for example, there's one instance of it that I really like in an anime series called K Project. Where one character, like, at the end of one of the seasons dies. I'm being very vague here on purpose.
Yes.
And whispers his last words to another character. And the audience does not get to hear those words. But like, not knowing that character who he was talking to, their actions change in the next series.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're, like, doing things based on the information that they got from that. So it's like... Oh, we're doing something.
So it had an inverse effect, whereas here it's just being used as like look at how symbolic we can be. When you show off symbolism, it's not really symbolism anymore.
It makes me feel a lack of closure, which sucks for a movie that's supposed to be like, look, we're bringing the old cast back.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yes.
Like for all intents and purposes, that film should have been like the send-off for them. And then I would have loved if 5 years later... Wow.
I was going to say, Natalie brought up a good point about that movie, too. And it's actually at the post-credits. When Kaiba goes back.
I hate that scene so much.
She said, she hates it so much. Can you explain again why you hate that scene?
It's like, the Pharaoh and Kaiba, they're rivals. But it's like, it was such a nice movie for Yugi's moving on. Pharaoh's dead. Kaiba's going to come to terms with it. Nope, he's still alive. We're gonna go into the afterlife and grab him out so we can have another duel. And it's like,
he already said that little Yugi was king of games. So why didn't he just try to duel little Yugi? Like, why the sudden urge?
I actually really like that's what Kaiba does. Because one, Kaiba is an over-the-top motherfucker.
He is,
Let's launch these duel monsters into space. Like, whoever wins this contest, we're gonna launch the duel monster into space.
Okay, let's put it, let's come to a happy medium. It's a good Kaiba moment, a bad character development moment, if that makes any sense.
But I was gonna say, like, the reason that I, like, actually genuinely like it is because... To me, it feels like a Tem is Kaiba's rival, not Yugi.
Yeah, not Yugi.
So, like, him having, like, that moment and, like, going after him instead, like, I actually really like. But I'm fine with disagreeing on fictional stuff.
Okay.
As much as I love Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's fucking stupid and doesn't matter. Like,
I don't even feel like I have to agree. I feel like a happy medium that's a good Kaiba moment, not a good character moment. Mm-hmm. Character-wise, if any character attempted that isn't Kaiba, it wouldn't work at all in any sense of the word. Even for Kaiba, it debatably doesn't. But for Kaiba to do it, Kaiba's the type of person who would fire a guy because a bottle didn't meet qualities. Like, like
that was funny.
Fire the guy that made that bottle. like that's a sentence he said. So as ridiculous as Kaiba is, I can see it. Like, at least it's not out of the realm of believability. Mm-hmm. But going back into the new series, then. Do you think Kaiba's that's not a word. Do you think Kaiba's technology influence will be placed in this series? Because Kaiba's use of dual monster technology has been vaguely tapped in the other series outside of DM and GX.
It's implied that, like, Kaiba Corp's tech is the basis of the tech that, like the template for the rest of them.
Zeal
is like a weird outlier. Well, Zeal and Arc 5 are weird outliers because Zeal, like, it's unclear if it takes place in the same timeline. Before that, like, it was pretty clear that it all did. And then Arc 5 completely throws it all out the window because even though 5Ds is supposed to take place after GX, it's a separate world, but it's also not the world of 5Ds. It's like a weird AU of 5Ds, and like,
yeah. And then Bonds Beyond Time comes in and fucks everything up.
Yeah.
But let's see. The next topic, I guess, is we'll talk about characters. What type of character, and not just the main character, because we already kind of did that. What qualities are you looking for in the support characters?
Make one of the main three a woman. just do it. I don't care if it's
the rival a woman.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be my preference if we
make her a boss bitch too.
But like, just I so badly want a woman at the core of this in one way or another, and I feel like I'm never going to get it.
Yeah. What do you want, Natalie, in the support?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have a particular type. I just I look at what I'm given and then I see if I like it or not. But no, I have a question.
Okay, well, let me ask this based on the fact.
I have a question. So, like, because I've thought about that too, where it's like if Yu-Gi-Oh has like a very prominent female character, but it's like that doesn't even mean that they'll still write her well. Like, what if we get the shittiest rival of all time who happens to be a woman?
It's very possible.
So I'm like, oh god.
So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Look, Yu-Gi-Oh's writing quality is always suspect in my eyes.
Yeah.
That's true.
The franchise has had a lot of problems over the years in that respect.
Yeah.
But just, it would be a step in the right direction.
Like, bad representation over no representation, I guess, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's, in terms of support characters, what I do kind of want, and I know a lot of anime has been straying away from this now. I don't know if it's because of the times or what. But I want the support characters to be friends, but tease each other. Like, that's one of the things I loved about DM. They gave, Joey had the shittiest friends, but at the same time, the best friends in the world. Like, they gave him shit. Like, the boy, the poor boy. Like, they would just walk around and just insult him openly, but they did it out of pure love. It was always out of love.
Actually really enjoy the friendship dynamic in Zeal, then.
Ooh. Okay,
There's a lot of that going on, and like they're out of school for the initial stuff. Like there's a lot of that same energy going on. It's just that Joey isn't the one getting the shit, it's Yuma.
Yeah,
what
but
do you mean you don't know what a defense mode is, Yuma? How are you going to become the best duelist in the world if you don't know what a defense mode is? What are you doing?
I just like the little stuff. They would, like, Joey and Tristan would choke each other out, like, do nuggies on each other. Taya would punch one of them in the head. Like, I don't know if it's because, like, that was a weird generation also where we're coming back to Pokemon again. Pokemon did that too, and then they immediately dropped it off around, like, the end of the Hoenn region. I don't know if it's because Japan is, like, weird about it now. But back then, yeah, they used to do that. They used to have friends who spite each other out of love. Nowadays, everybody's sort of just cool with each other.
There's like a certain character dynamic that has actually faded from prominence. That is that, which is like the slacker with a heart of gold at school.
Yeah.
Where like they resort to violence, but they're like honorable, right?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck the system, but like I'm a good person, but fuck the system.
Yeah.
JoJo Part 4 has a lot of that,
right.
actually.
Right. So let's see. We've already talked about the supporting cast, the rival.
Oh, I do have another aspect of that I would actually be interested in. So Yugioh has 2 big character traits that I don't get a lot of in other series that I actually really like a lot. So I hope we continue that. One is like the partner. The person who is with the main character, be it like spiritually, physically, like whatever, but like they're having their little dynamic, and like whatever difference in opinions they have, or however much of control of the wheel, as it were, each of the 2 of them have, or in the case of that one manga series, the fucking 6 of them have I really like that dynamic, and I hope it continues in some respect.
Yes.
I would also settle for...
Now wait, when you say the partner, you mean like I guess Yami, Yugi, Yubel.
That's him, Yubel.
Okay.
5Ds doesn't
Astral.
have one.
Yeah, that's so weird. I keep forgetting 5Ds doesn't have one. No, it's mostly because Yusei kind of has all the qualities of one.
Yusei feels like a rival character.
Yeah.
Which is
I can
cool.
see it.
They execute on it well. They don't execute on it well in Vrains, which tries to do the same thing.
But for me, in terms of the main character, I wouldn't mind like a partner character. They don't necessarily have to have Yugi's dynamic where they switch back and forth between it, but I think that was exclusively for him anyway.
Arc 5's manga does it.
Oh yeah.
They all switch between each other, and when they switch, their decks change.
Oh.
It's really fucking cool.
That's a thing. That's creative. I will say that. That's definitely creative. In terms of, let's see. Oh, we gotta tackle the biggest question. I'm jokingly being like, the main character's hair. What's that shit gonna be like?
I am so
It has
upset.
to be stupid. It has to be.
So upset
that's a
with Vrains.
requirement.
Are you both familiar with like the Vrains character design?
Yeah.
Like both in and out of the virtual world?
Yes.
I love his design outside of the virtual world.
I do too. I actually think it's a lot better than it's inside the one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I only get the design I really like in the non-hype moments where it's like calm.
That's funny.
And then it's like, oh, I'm gonna jack into the fucking internet and oh.
Yeah, his hair in the standard mode is way better than that. I don't know what exactly that is in the Rain world, but that, yeah. So
It is explained in that franchise that everyone gets to create their own avatar.
Why'd you create that one?
At the beginning of the show, Yusaku's on the run, and is like wanted by like an evil organization. So the reason he goes by Playmaker is because it's like a secret identity type of deal.
Incognito.
He's almost like considered like a superhero in the world of Vrains, but he looks stupid. So
Natalie, what are you hoping for the main character in terms of hair?
In terms of hair, I don't know. Like, let me pose a different idea. So what if, because I'm thinking with how reboot happy and whatever, like just media in general is right now, what if we don't really get a new character and we're just working with the previous ones we got?
It's a very distinct possibility.
I can see that.
I actually think it's fairly possible that the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 will be a reboot of the franchise.
Yeah.
Either soft or hard, but like I don't.
I mean, at least
that.
we'll get to see the original cast follow the damn rules.
Hopefully. I personally don't want that. I think it would bog the franchise down with like a lot of extra baggage that it doesn't need for a very long time.
Yeah. Plus there'll be a lot of critics like, oh, this doesn't have the heart it had in the original.
Well, that is always gonna happen.
Well, yeah. You're never gonna please everybody.
I don't want to retread the same stuff for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's but
yeah,
it could happen.
I can see how that would be a problem. Yeah, so that would definitely be taking a lot of steps backwards. The idea, I guess, is that they want to reach out to a new demographic, but at the same
it's like,
time,
even with how the card games and all like merchandising work, it's still like heavily DM. So like I feel like if they still want, if they're like, well, we need new fans, it's like the same thing how Pokemon Go is for like Kanto. We're like, oh, we better get Kanto to bring the old fans in. So. I don't know.
Gen 1.
Yeah, because I remember, as much as I like Duel Links, there's no denying it. Majority of its cast comes from the DM era, I think.
Another like reason that I feel like the franchise is in a weird place and that Vrains ended before it was initially meant to. The merchandise. Weird, like in Japan, they're still getting new Vrains stuff with like the characters on it that adds on to those decks, but the show is done.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
Let's see. And now that we're getting into the decks, actually, thank you, Callus. I want to talk about the card games, like the duels themselves. How do you want the duels to go in this series?
Kill Link summoning. Kill it. Take it out.
Okay, I can see that.
That is 100%.
That makes sense. I didn't like it anyway.
The more realistic solution to that is to so the main problem, what actually like ruined the game, is that they made it so you can only summon into the extra monster zone, which is like a new area in front of the normal area.
It's in the front of the monster zone.
And then you can only summon other things from your extra deck that connect, like, based on one of the link arrows.
So if there's a link pointing down, you can only summon an extra monster below the link monster.
Exactly. And that kills so many decks.
Yeah, it limits it a lot.
And it makes links, like, way too powerful in comparison to all of the other types of summoning. Even once they did eventually introduce all of the old types of summoning, except for Pendulum, to Vrains, most of those linked into allowing for more link summons.
Oh.
Right.
Like they would do a big XYZ summon, and it would be like super hype. That's still my favorite kind of summoning. And then it would be like, and that lets me summon this link monster.
Oh god. See, one of the things, if I'm talking from a competitive standpoint, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot competitively, but I have I have watched people who have. One of the biggest problems with Yu-Gi-Oh! In a competitive standpoint is that all sets from any series, from any setup, are legal unless they're on the forbidden list. So the problem with that becomes you can use you can use the Blue Eyes White Dragon set from the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series if you wanted to. And it's terrible, but you can bring it in a tournament.
Blue Eyes is still getting a shitload of support though.
Yeah.
Right. They give them support cards to like kind of justify them, but I'm saying you can use the Blue Eyes White Dragon booster set cards if you wanted to. They'd be terrible, but you can do it. Pokemon avoids this problem in their trading card games by having set rotations. So like, oh, you can only use these cards this year, and then it's a cheap tactic to try to get you to buy more cards, but
Magic
it is
also
efficient.
Does it.
Magic does it too. So they have sets that rotate in and rotate out. So now you got, and what they need to do, obviously, when they make a new summon, they're gonna advertise the summon. They have to, like, you gotta get the summon. So to do that, they make that summon stronger than any of the other cards that existed. Links have to be better than Pendulum, or else you're not gonna get Links. You're just gonna stick with Pendulums.
It killed Pendulum summoning, by the way, because
of course
the Link restriction
because people didn't like Pendulum to begin with.
Well, but like it hits Pendulums the hardest because the whole thing with Pendulums is that when a Pendulum monster would die, it would go to your extra deck, and then you'd be able to bounce those back out the next turn and do stuff with them. But you can't do that if you only have one spot.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I think the thing is what they need to do. I've always been comfortable with everything up to XZ summons. I think XZ summons was like the cusp of where we kind of need to stop.
Oh, man.
No offense to Pendulum and Link. That's just, XZ's was like hitting the limits.
I wasn't sure if you were implying we needed to cut those ones out, but like I was ready to throw down. That's like the
no. I'm
not
saying
play has that as like a core thing.
No, I'm saying XZ's was like at the limit. That's like where we alright, we've hit where we need to hit. Pendulum and Link summons, if they want to advertise them in like competitive play, that's fine. But I think if we're talking about the series, I think it can revolve around those 4 elements, those 4 generations of Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay. I don't think we need any more than those 4, because they kind of do the job that's necessary. Plus, we won't run into situations where, in the anime it's fine, but in a real life situation, if you play against somebody. Their first turn can last like 10 minutes, and it gets yucky. But in the anime, if they can just simplify it to at least to the XZ's rules, then we'll have some reasonable gameplay going.
One of the biggest problems with the watchability of Vrains is that Link summoning, pendulums, when you do it, it's done, right? Yeah. It's like I summon these 5 monsters or whatever, but they like all pop out at the same time, and like the big pillars of light come down, and you get the little effect of the pendulum swinging back and forth between the 2 scales that are set, and then it like those monsters just pop down, and we're good to go. In Vrains, it's like, okay, so I summon this one monster. Summoning that monster allows me to special summon this monster. Then I can link summon this one, and then this monster comes out, and then I use that thing's effect to summon a thing from the graveyard, which allows me to link summon again. When that one is link summoned, it allows me to summon this from my hand, which allows me to link summon again, and then that brings back another link monster from the graveyard, and it's every single turn. Yeah. Every single turn is like that, and every single deck rotates around it, and it is really boring to watch.
Yeah, I can see that being a problem. And these are the things you're gonna deal with too when you have run an entire anime series based off of a trading card game for 22 years. Well, for 20 years, I'm sorry. For 20 years. So,
Are you familiar with Cardfight Vanguard?
I know of it.
Yeah, same. Okay. I've seen it.
But you never delved into the franchise?
I've never watched it. I know of it though.
So that went on for, I don't know, 5-6 years or something like that. Maybe a bit longer. But their power creep got so bad that they just rebooted the whole franchise.
Right. And that's probably where Yugioh's headed.
Oh no.
It could be.
Yeah.
And it would probably be good for the health of the game overall if they could start over and rebalance it and stuff. But again, I am terrified of having to watch the same shit for the next 20 years.
Right.
Because I'm in at this point. I've watched so much Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna watch whatever the franchise puts out, and if it's bad, I'm gonna complain about it and raise hell about it. But I'm in.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a question of how much I'm enjoying the experience.
One of the things that I've always wanted in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I think they've only shown this off on very situational episodes, and each series has it, but I kind of want them to follow it to
the logical extreme.
Well, yeah, so there's certain duels where, and this bugs me that GX didn't do this of all series, where there should be conditions somebody, they need to tackle subjects that a real card player would take on, this guy got the best cards because he's rich or whatever, but the problem is
you should watch the Vanguard anime.
yeah I was gonna say, but the problem is that set hasn't come out yet or something, but then they make reprints of it, so now everybody has it, so then everybody keeps thinking they're hot shit, but the original person who had the set beats everybody. And the reason being is because you may have gotten the expensive card that used to be rare, but it's nothing compared to your skill. Your skill just sucks. I'm better than you at using this rare card. You just bought it thinking you would be as good as me.
GX does that a bit with what the fuck's his dub name? Chaz.
Yeah.
When he loses his old fucking deck, Monjomi's so much better. I'm sorry. Sub superiority.
And his brothers, I believe his brothers buy him the best cards known to man.
Yeah, but like it like he has a bit of that going on. Vanguard has a scene, well, multiple scenes actually, where the main character like is getting deck building tips. And there's like a bit where he's like sitting down and just like looking at his cards, and like they're discussing about how his deck is imbalanced because he has too many of these, so he needs to take some of these out.
Right.
And there's a character in that who is just obsessed with really strong monsters. So he puts like way too many like high level monsters into his deck and can't get them out. And like it's like a whole thing. Like they play with the mechanics of the card game. It would be really nice to see Yu-Gi-Oh do that more.
DM lightly touched on it. I know Joey originally had a deck that was full of monsters, like completely full of it. And Yugi was like, "You can't do no."
Oh my god. Some of the best episodes of Vrains, I think there's only like 1 or 2 episodes like this, focus on one of the supporting characters, who is like, I guess he's kind of like this one's Tristan. He's Yusaku's friend at school, but he doesn't know that Yusaku is Playmaker. When he goes into Vrains, he kind of wears like an almost Mega Man-esque outfit, and he goes by the title Brave Max. And he sucks at the card game. But there's a point where like there's an episode where he winds up dueling against someone who is like with the Knights of Hanoi, the villain group. And this duel is like so goofy and fun and dumb because they both draw like it does the like big dramatic thing, right? And they all draw their first hand and they're like ready to go, and they both go like, I can't, like both internally in their interior monologues it goes, I can't play anything in my hand.
Nice. I got nothing.
It's so good.
I also want weird wins to happen too. Like, remember when Yugi was dueling Strings?
Yeah.
And he had to Slifer the Sky Dragon, and obviously Slifer the Sky Dragon's too powerful to physically fight. So Yugi just sort of tricked Strings into mulliganing and drawing all the cards and decking out. Like, I like shit like that.
Yeah.
I think the best instance of that, at least my favorite one, is in Duel Monsters, where Yugi's dueling against Joey when Joey's mind controlled.
Yeah.
And it's like, Yugi, if you win, Joey's going to fucking die.
Yes.
And like they have like the whole thing where he like winds up making it a draw.
Yes,
and
I love that.
It feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he found a loophole out of the condition that was placed.
Using the mechanics of the game, which is the important part.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or I like the one, and this is so stupid, but I like it because it's in a filler saga. It's in the Grand Championship, the worst saga in the show.
God.
But Golden Castle of Stormberg makes it so... I'm sorry?
No, I didn't say anything.
Golden Castle of Stormberg the effect was messed with, so it worked mostly against Yugi. He had to discard half of the cards in his deck every turn. Well, he only had 1 card in his deck left, and you can't cut one in half, so the entire fucking castle just crumbs apart.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. So stupid. Way too stupid to be realistic, but like stuff like that I do enjoy. I like when the main character wins with unconventional means. I love when Yusei won using cards from everybody in a prison to make this makeshift customized deck.
There's a couple of duels in Zeal that touch on that, but it's really like hit or miss, especially in the first half. You mentioned that story arc, and all I can think about is the fucking Vor duel.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's stupid, but I do like, and I think before Yusei, I think it was after he got arrested or whatever. The guys were making fun of Yanagi for having these like fossil cards or whatever, treasure cards, and Yusei's like, "Give me your deck. I'll get them. I'll whoop them with this trash deck. I mean, good deck."
No decks are bad decks. If you created it with your heart, then it's a good deck.
There's no bad decks, just bad duelists. And Yugi did it too. I remember there was this machine that went haywire, but Yugi could
with a forthright deck. Sorry.
Yeah, he had to use the crappy deck. So I like that stuff. I kind of want them to utilize that more. Because, you can't... Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately locks itself up to where you can't have the main character really lose, unfortunately.
There's some instances where that's not necessarly true, and it
Yuma
leads to some
loses,
of the best moments. But
Yuma loses, but the joke is supposed to be that Yuma's losing only comes in from the perspective of a kid who clearly doesn't know what he's doing until until the stakes get higher.
Oh, seeing that character progress is really good. It
because
feels really nice. Where episode 1, what's a defense mode? I don't understand what's happening. And then 100 episodes later, it's like, look at this actually competent duelist. Like, he is amongst the best duelists that this franchise has ever seen. And it feels good.
And I saw a glimpse of it too when I was watching the beginning, where Astral clearly has a better move that Yuma can make, and Yuma does it his own way. He gets the same results, just unconventionally.
I love their dynamic so much.
Yeah, I actually do like that.
Didn't go up, but they're my favorite partner group in the franchise, specifically because Astral is the one who is more competent, but he can't stop Yuma from being stupid.
I like that though, because I like that they're proving that there's more than one way to actually make a strategy here. So if we're looking for what we want in the next series, I want to see stuff like that, a character played this way, but they could have done things this way, or a duelist would normally do this, but that's a mistake because if they do that, then they're going to wind up with this. I remember when Zane, this is probably the most competent moment I seen. Well, Zane's competent in general, but this is one of the most competent moments I seen in the series, where Cyrus plays, what's the card's name? I want to say it's Metamorph, or no, it's
Megamorph?
Yeah, it's no. It's a machine card. Limiter removal. Limiter removal. Yeah, a limiter removal doubles the power of a machine type monster. But the machine type monster gets destroyed the turn after. Zane tells Cyrus specifically not to do that, because if he did that, then he's going to lose. And he explains why. He's like, your monster will get destroyed next turn, and then your opponent still has life points. They can summon a monster, they can attack you, it'll be over by that point. I like moments like that because it sits down and tells them the rules of the card game without, it explains things without making us sound like we're stupid.
Yeah.
There's there's a problem that the franchise has that it needs to step away from, which is there's this very predictable thing that happens, which is usually, and sometimes they move away from this on purpose, but if a character says or thinks about what is going to happen and then I will win, that will never happen. It will always get interrupted somehow. So with the friend that I watch with, when someone in the sideline is going all oh, and then Yusaku will do this and then he'll win, I go no, why did you think that? You
jinxed it.
Natalie, what do you want? What are some qualities you don't want to see in the new series? What are some things that you feel like Yu-Gi-Oh needs to cut?
I don't know. I like everything we've already talked about. Grounded rules would be nice, nothing over the top or overblown, or duels that take 6 episodes, but I don't know. I'm not picky.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the bigger bosses to be multiple episodes. That's the weight of it.
I just remembered a thing that you would really like in Zeal. The big bad in that is the 3 versus 1 duel.
Oh.
And well, it's 2 versus. It's complicated. But the villain gets a monster that the first part of the duel is stupid. He just gets to cheat and do whatever he wants. Yeah. But they disable that ability. And then the big bad gets a monster with, I think it's 100,000 attack or something like that.
Yes.
And the characters they gimmick it, like they strategize and they work and they do stuff together to get a monster with more attack than that.
Oh my god.
And just like go back and forth.
Gosh.
And it's just the most like, oh my god.
Christ.
It's almost like a duel puzzle in how ridiculous
That's funny.
it is.
I want to see. Oh, here's one thing I want to see. I want to see more tournaments.
That's fair.
I don't know why. Like, saving the world is nice. That's fine plot, considering that all Yu-Gi-Oh games, all Yu-Gi-Oh series are gonna. Dueling's life. Dueling is how you fight. You don't. Yeah, there's some people who physically fight, but dueling is how you solve all your problems. I want to see more tournaments.
Well, it makes sense in a world that's built up around this that there would be tournaments of that.
Yeah.
In Arc 5, there are 2 tournaments, I want to say. Actually, there's one near the beginning and then one in the 5Ds world. So, you know, like, they still touch on it sometimes. Vrains very much did not have one. That plot would not have fit that at all. That is about a race war against AI.
Yeah. So, yeah, when 5Ds had the Fortune Cup, it was just like this is nice. Like, yeah, there's some underhanded stuff happening right now, but the Fortune Cup tournament was just nice. It was just nice to sit down and see the next person duel against the next person. And it's connected to the overarching plot, which is the Shadow Duelist plot. So, it was really nice to just, you know, watch a tournament. I like when the main characters get together and do a tournament. It gives some main characters a chance to face each other.
Yeah, that's what, and it makes like fun matchups too. Like characters that normally wouldn't interact, like get to talk to each other or whatever. Right. So that's always fun. Yeah.
It gives Maya a chance to lose again. Like, yeah.
Literally what we're watching next. That she never won like anything on screen in Battle City.
She won one duel. Yeah, she won. She won one duel against Ace Magnum, and that's it. That's our only on-screen victory.
Feminism.
Everything else has been off-screen, and it always pissed me off because she always had the required MacGuffins necessary to get to the finals. I already have all 10 star chips.
From where?
I already have 5 locator cards.
Yeah, but women aren't allowed to do the cool stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh.
No.
They
you just have to believe the writers.
Allowed.
They're really, really good, except when they're on screen.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's another instance of and then we already talked about this, but they screwed Mai's character so bad because it was like, oh, you know what? I do need friends. Next series, I don't need friends. What happened?
I don't even know what a friendship is.
Right? I was like, what the fuck happened to you, Mai?
I mean...
Oh, brother. And Joey's just
objectively, from a writing perspective, that's bad.
Yeah.
Personally, from a my certain tastes, I really liked that arc.
Oh, like Doma? I do like season 4 for her. I do. But
I do love the Seal of Orichalcos for the idea. It's first of all, it's a series where Yugi loses. That's the saga where Yugi loses, and I think it's interesting because Yugi legitimately loses a duel. Like, there's no tricks, there's no timeouts, there's no nothing. Yugi just gets his ass whooped.
It got cut out of the dub, but there's a scene where Joey like punches at him.
Yeah,
and
it's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. But, so I want to see that too. Like, if the main character has to, I want the main character to at least lose once so they can get their collective shit together.
Yeah.
You should watch Vanguard.
That's what, this whole video was just to advertise Vanguard.
I'm not even, like, in on that franchise right now. I'm just saying you personally would probably like that a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like when a main character does lose, it gives them a chance to recope, and sometimes better things come out of it. They get a new deck.
I can't see my cards anymore.
No, we're not talking about him right now, okay? Look, I've been avoiding Jade for a reason. He wins all his... Calm down. Oh my goodness. GX is the Jaden show for at least the first 2 seasons.
Yusaku didn't lose a single duel in Vrains.
I mean, well, given the circumstances, though, I think that's fine, isn't it? For him, I didn't watch Vrains, so I wouldn't know.
There were
Could he afford to lose?
There were opportunities where the plot could have continued even if he lost.
Okay, yeah. Well, I like Yami Yugi's whole argument. Yami Yugi could afford to lose in several duels. He just didn't want to.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged has a very accurate character.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, little Yugi's like, stop, we don't have to do this. Kaiba doesn't have to kill himself. And Yami's like, yes, but I want to win, fool. Oh, yeah. And then the Seal of Orichalcos goes, no, don't play it. We can just lose. Yeah, or we could just not lose. Seal of Orichalcos.
Yeah.
So, like, you seem to prefer, like, a scaling down of the importance of the plot, right?
Well,
is
not
that,
yeah.
Like, at least at the forefront, right?
Yeah,
like,
I would say the world can be at risk, but at the end of the day, it's still a card anime.
Yeah, I get you. So,
yeah.
In my wildest dreams, assuming that like we were getting a standard Yu-Gi-Oh series next, probably you're not gonna like this too much. I wanted it to go like hard sci-fi, like full on.
Oh, like they're in space at this point.
We are in space, and we are just going around to different planets and like doing space wars.
I mean, to be fair, Callus, if it's done correctly, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay, this is maybe my taste bleeding over, but whatever. I want someone standing at the head of a ship, arms crossed, Gurren Lagann style, like dual disc, like at the ready to go. And then like there's someone on another ship doing the same thing, and they're like riding towards each other, and then like the duel happens in space around them.
Space duels. I sacrifice 3 star tokens in order to summon.
Again, given what's happening with the franchise, I don't think we're going to get that. We're either like right now at least, like maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! 8. You never know what the future holds, right? But it's almost certain we're gonna see Yugi on screen.
Yeah.
Or if we don't see Yugi on screen in the first episode, they're going to mention Yugi, and it'll be like,
it's gonna be for a nostalgia grab. It's a nostalgia grab.
And like that could work out really well, or it could work out really poorly. It depends on how well they write, which is always a fucking conflict for Yu-Gi-Oh! So I guess we'll see.
Constellation summons allow you to summon monsters at certain turns or conditions, just like if the stars align.
Summons. Oh. Where it's like each of them has like a hyper specific condition you have to fulfill.
Yeah, I have to play 3 trap cards in a row in order to summon this specific monster. Constellation summon, Trap Master.
Super down with that.
Yeah,
that's actually really good, and it doesn't like bog any like it allows.
It sounds like balance too.
Yeah, it allows decks to build out in like a variety of different ways. So we would never run into the problem that Vrains had of every single deck feeling like the exact same fucking thing. It's
that was actually a problem, not just in Vrains, but just in general. Like it was like, oh, my deck is full of my deck is full of machine monsters. My deck is full of bug monsters. My deck is full of dinosaur monsters. Like
there is something charming about like the very specific theming of those early Yu-Gi-Oh! Like antagonists. I'm like, hello, I am the bug person, and I'm here with my bugs, and I love bugs. And then like the guy who's big into fucking dinosaurs is just like, yeah, I love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's very on the nose, but like it's fun.
Yeah. But it would be cool to see, like, I liked, he's called Unnamed Rare Hunter. He's the first guy that Yugi duels in the Battle City tournament. But I like his concept only because it plays around with the idea that real people have. If Exodia wins duels, what if I just fill my deck with Exodia cards? Like, that's a real life situation. And I love that Yugi beats it because, first of all, I love that Yugi, of all people, does it because his deck used to have Exodia in it.
Yeah.
So now it's almost like he overcome Exodia.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need it anymore because it's a character growth thing to me, personally. That's my headcanon. But, like, in my head, that's how that goes. Like, oh, he's better than Exodia. He doesn't need the Exodia win. He can just beat it with skill because he beat Exodia, the card that's seemingly unbeatable. I like that. I like stuff like that.
You know what? Having now talked it up to myself, or to you too, I want more thematic characters. It doesn't have to be necessarily as on the nose.
Yeah.
Vrains has a couple of them, but like a lot of the later Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchises, like it's kind of a coin flip of if like a character's actually going to thematically be related to their deck. And some of the funnest characters are. There's like an idol in Vrains who has mermaid idols, which is a ripoff of a Vanguard archetype, whatever.
Some of them take a while. Like, what was Joey's theme all the way up until maybe Red Eyes Black Dragon happened?
Time Wizard.
Fighting.
I don't know.
I'm a fight. I'm a punch you. My theme is that I punch you.
Yeah, Joey was just like a bunch of roughneck monsters.
There's a character in Vrains who is all about, he's a wrestler. And his whole thing is that much like Yugioh, he's not about like winning necessarily, he's about entertaining the people watching. Yeah. He's like very over the top, and like then there's like a bit where he like pretends to be evil and he has a card that's literally called heel turn, and like it makes the monsters do like things that are like cheating and wrestling, and it's like a whole thing. It's I like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Theming is fun. And they shy away from it sometimes. Yeah.
Because even little Yugi, well, Yugi in general, he had a theme to his deck. It was basically vaguely Dungeons and Dragons, like generic RPG monster type deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, beast, goblins, magicians, and dragons. That was what his theme was at first, and then it evolved. Into the yeah,
no, a lot of the protagonists actually have that.
James, I'm the hero. Can you tell by my hero cards? Sit down, Jaden.
I summon Neos.
Sit down.
Contact fusion.
And I fuse literally everything. I fused myself with somebody once. This isn't a joke. He really used polymerization on himself and a monster.
Are we gonna get into that?
No.
No.
We shouldn't get into that.
No. We'll save that for later. But overall though, because I think just to close things out, because we've been at this for about now, is there anything else that you guys, just closing thoughts that you guys want to see in this new series?
Okay. Middle ground of like what oh shit, I just remembered a thing. Okay, side tangent before the final
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Another thing that Yu-Gi-Oh does that a lot of other franchises don't do that I really, 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 really like is traitor characters. In one way or another, like whether they're evil from the start, don't know that they're evil, like wind up turning evil for one reason or another, but like a character who is like with the heroes and is like buddy with them, and eventually it turns out like, no, I'm an evil son of a bitch. Bakura does this in the original series. I don't think 5Ds has an instance of it, or GX, but Zeal does do that?
GX, 5Ds kind of. They started with it, but it was before the series started. Jack Atlas.
Jack is a traitor who has already betrayed them before the show starts.
So at this point, Jack's whole route is the road to redemption.
Zeal has multiple instances of it, and they are some of my favorite things that has ever happened in a fictional franchise. It ties into the Barian storyline, which is like the big climactic thing of the second half of the show, and just it is so perfectly executed.
That's literally that character is like my reason for why I want to watch it. Like,
nice.
Well, there's multiple actually, but it reaches the point where like when they're like finally doing the final conflict there, and like the characters are expressing their points of view, I'm sitting there going like, I don't even think he's wrong. We need to stop him. The stakes here are that we need to stop him, but I don't think he's wrong. Like, he had to do this, and he had to do it this way. And that feels like really good.
Yeah.
Vrains has that, but Vrains is even worse than
it just wasn't. It probably just wasn't executed well enough to justify some of the stuff that.
If it winds up tying into Yu-Gi-Oh 7, then like maybe the trek becomes worth it. But we'll,
Natalie, do you have any closing thoughts on what you want to see in the new Yu-Gi-Oh, or did we kind of talk about it?
I think we kind of touched on it most, but because so back with Pokemon, like they gave a date of when they're gonna talk. Do we have any idea of when Yu-Gi-Oh's gonna announce more?
No.
2020. 2020.
2020. That's it. That's all we got.
I don't like
Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 is supposed to happen in 2020. It's a bad sign.
It's very vague. It's so vague.
They canceled Vrains early, like 100%. They haven't said that, but like everything indicates that, and that is.
I feel like it was like the producers were like, "Hey, we got to end this."
Which again, we're gonna see Yugi.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't mean a reboot. Are you two are, well, Tyrone, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Dragon Ball, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I don't know if Natalie is.
No,
at all.
I don't watch Dragon Ball. I mean, I know vague characters and stuff, but.
Okay, well, Tyrone at least, are you familiar with Dragon Ball Xenoverse?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I have it and the sequel.
Oh, fair. I would, before I saw the finale of Vrains and like had that tied in and went like, oh, we might actually be going for something here, and like linking into whatever Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 might be, which is not something that Yu-Gi-Oh! Typically does with its finales. But again, we're in a very like different situation right now, so it's unclear what'll happen. What my personal like hope in theory like was beyond the sci-fi thing was getting a Yu-Gi-Oh! Xenoverse, where we have a new protagonist in the future.
The time traveler and gotta fix
like time is going bad, and like we need to go back in time and like figure out what's happening, and like we're like returning
alternate realities where Pegasus actually beats Yugi,
and it's like, oh, we need to set this right, or like we need to deal with the consequences of this, or like whatever, and like we're traveling in various points to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise.
That would be fun.
Yeah. It would be and like it's a very good way to celebrate the history of the franchise coming up on the 20th anniversary.
Me personally, if they have to absolutely bring Yugi back, if they have to,
I feel it in my heart. I could be wrong, and I'd be fine with being wrong, but I feel it in my heart.
Yeah, if they have to, no reboot, but okay. The events take place after Dark-Sided Dimensions, because they already established time skip. They've already established that Yugi's grown up. You know, Teia's grown up.
If
the characters have grown up. Just give us a series that happens in between that time where they're like in their mid to late teens, almost to adulthood. I feel like a lot of events can happen with those characters.
Just move the timeline forward by...
Yeah, have them tackle little arcs, and if you have to put speed dueling's rule in it to advertise it, make it so that like in a certain dimension where the rules change, so they have to duel using speed duel.
Or a tournament.
Yes, absolutely. I'm down with that.
This shit writes itself.
Yeah, it does. It's weird how it's so awful sometimes. When it
you hear us, Konami? Get to work.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw out there, Konami, steal any of my ideas. Just do it.
Right.
I don't care. Like,
oh, how dare you steal my ideas? Now I gotta watch it.
Oh damn it! I had an idea. Oh, this is never going to happen. This is like a pipe dream thing. This is not what it will be. But it would be really cool to get an almost anthology series where we like look back on the franchise and have like here is what, like, let's do a story arc with the Duel Monsters cast like 5 years in the future. Let's see what Judai and friends are doing like 5 years after they graduate from school. Let's advance the plot of like the timeline of 5Ds a bit. Let's go do that conflict from Zeal that they had hinted at. Let's go wrap up the thing from Vrains. You know,
and then the final season's probably like a weird time paradox where they're all invited to a tournament, but they're sent through different times.
But like we could even go like more hyper specific of just like, let's go do an episode with Rio, right?
Yes.
And just like kind of like go in with him and like just check in with what's going on in his life. Like, I would enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like at all. But it would be cool.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Like I want the character-driven
these
stuff.
Are a lot of,
but
I've just focused a lot more on the characters themselves, because no matter what Yu-Gi-Oh series pass, one thing I do like about all Yu-Gi-Oh series in general, no matter which one, even my least favorite ones, they do have colorful characters. Like, you can definitely pick them out from a crowd. There's never been a point where I've looked at a character and just been like, who the hell are you? Like,
one way or another, I usually really, really like or really, really don't like characters in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. Right. I mean, even the characters you don't like, you still recognize them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know that you can point them out in a crowd, definitely. So it's good to see that no matter what situation happens, a lot of these characters are very colorful. They have very great personalities. So if you have to reuse them, then like you said, Callus, use them to their best abilities. Because all Yu-Gi-Oh! Series generally end open-ended. There's never been one that's just like close to the point where nothing more can continue. Yeah, little Yugi loses a Tim, but that doesn't mean Yugi can stop dueling.
So, Arc 5 feels the most conclusive.
Well, yeah, that's because they're doing a whole...
Yeah, but like... Yeah. But yeah, even with that, there's like a way that you could like move the timeline forward. In Arc 5's case, I'm not going to go into the specifics of why, but I'd like to see an even more extreme time jump, like almost 20 years, as opposed to like, just because of what happens in certain respects. Yeah. But yeah. But
so anyway, because we've been going at this for a good hour 30 minutes at this point. No, it's fine. No. That's good. That's good. That means that we've had a very stimulating conversation. We're gonna end it off though. What are your thoughts, people watching this video? What are your thoughts? Put them in the comment section. What are you looking for in the new Yu-Gi-Oh series? What are your hopes? What do you want in the series? What do you not want in the series? You know, Callus, follow her on Twitter and subscribe to her YouTube channel. She makes several videos tackling Yu-Gi-Oh! And its various different series.
And Natalie, other stuff.
And other things.
Video games in general. I'm not pigeonholed Yu-Gi-Oh! But,
yeah. And then Natalie, she also posts a lot of fun stuff on Twitter. You still have your YouTube, correct?
Same name.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll put your link in the description as well. And, you know, follow these two on not just Twitter, also YouTube, on any other social media sites that they have. I will put all links in the description. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the discussion. I don't think I would have been able to think of half of the stuff without you two showing up and, you know, putting in your thoughts and opinions.
So then when we get new information, we got to make another video and talk about our feelings.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'll be right back here going, fuck, I can't believe they made a series about Weevil. It's the Underwood show.
God.
Maybe I'll be proven to be a prophet.
Something's bugging you.
God.
But nah, fucking
no, for real. It's a pleasure. Like it has been both times. I'd be glad to do this or any other thing. Like anytime. You're both amazing to talk to. I had a really good time. Thank you for having me on.
Yay.
So obviously, when we do get some news and we all get together again, we'll definitely be talking about that Yu-Gi-Oh! News. We'll keep you posted. Again, links in the description. Thank you all for watching this video. I know it's quite hefty, so if you do watch this, I recommend, you know, taking out a snack, you know, doing something else. Yeah, study up on that exam that's coming up. You know it's coming up. But with that said, I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone, the God 3,